This is a Dragon Blazer production. Help me. I'm being held hostage in a basement. And I'm being forced to do these podcasts with my father who needs a breath mint. Hey! Of movies of too much sentiment. And I'm hosting Juvenile Jurisdictions of Judgement.
Aw, this sucks.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Juvenile Jurisdiction of Judgment. I'm your host, Steven, and I have my co-host here. First, let me introduce Xavier. Hi, Xavier.
Thank you, Frank. Yes, I love
Who's
this movie.
Frank?
Don't ask that question. I love this movie. It was a really good one.
Well, wait for that. Give me a sec. And let me introduce my other lovely co-host, the darling Miss Raina. How are you doing, Miss Raina?
Oh, I'm lovely too.
I'm doing good.
Yes, you're lovely too.
It's happy to be wanted.
Is it happy to be wanted?
Hi, I exist.
You exist.
She does.
Alright. So, in this episode, we watched the 1990 movie Home Alone.
So it's way too 80-ish to be anywhere in the 90s.
Well, it's literally the beginning of the 90s, right after the 80s, so it kind of works.
It looks like the beginning of the 80s.
Well, this is probably our biggest movie we've watched. I mean, most people have seen Home Alone. It's a very popular movie. Definitely our most popular movie we've watched so far. Clueless was up there, but Home Alone was a phenomenon when it came out.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I actually watched the whole movie. Like, I've seen bits and parts, of course.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. Like, this movie appears a lot on cable, which I've only been around for when, I don't know. I haven't laid eyes on a cable thing or whatever in years. And I really can't come up with the right words to say that, so don't judge me. I'm a
Cable
human.
thingy.
Don't judge this cable thingy.
A cable
All
box?
right.
Cable.
Well,
Don't
a quick description of Home Alone. Home Alone is about an 8-year-old boy, Kevin McAllister, who has somewhat of a pretty terrible family, or at least a really, really hectic night, they show. And he gets left alone by his family. They had like 15 people going to Paris. And he gets left alone and has to defend his house by himself, an 8-year-old boy, against 2 bandits. And he tortures them and, literally destroys these guys.
Yeah.
And let me say right here, there's way too many garbage human beings in this movie.
A lot of them are just awful, but...
Yeah. But, they come around and there's some decent people.
There are decent people, but, man, people in the 80s and the 90s are jerks.
Only in this movie.
No, it's a fact.
All right, so
I didn't grow up there.
First question. First, let's go with Xavier this time. What did you think of this movie?
Well, I thought it was definitely very great, and honestly, it was very, very well thought out, and it's just this complex movie put into 100 minutes of this incredibly smart and, for some reason, fast enough to set up a bunch of traps around an entire house in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that treehouse was there before, but I hope he didn't just build a treehouse within 2 hours.
It was there before.
Okay, that's good.
Well, what about you, Raina? What did you think of this movie?
I mean, I always knew that I loved it even before I watched the whole thing. Just by watching the little parts of him torturing the robbers and the bandits. Like, I always knew I loved it. And I enjoyed it even more now that I watched the whole thing. It's hilarious.
My first interpretation of what I thought this movie was before I actually watched it, like, I always thought it was just some brat who knows how to fight off some bandits. Now I know, like, this kid is not really a brat. He's actually quite understandable. I don't know, everybody hates him, so, I don't know, he's an 8-year-old, so he's not going to say things he means, you know.
Well, I think it's not so much that everybody hates him. They're siblings. They're related. They, you know, you fight with your family. It's just a thing.
Okay, but Uncle Frank.
Okay, he was a dick.
He was real mean.
He was a jerk.
Uncle Frank is an exception. He's just an awful person altogether.
Just slams his own daughter, like, into the wall.
His daughter?
I think it was his daughter.
That was not his daughter.
I don't know. I don't know the relationship of everybody here.
All right, so what about technology? Was there any kind of technology in this movie from the 1990s?
Those dang payphones.
Those darn payphones come back again.
And, I don't know, airlines and jerkish people.
Well,
Airlines? You don't know about airlines?
Well, I know about airlines. I'm talking about jerkish people at airlines.
Oh,
I know
okay.
that's not technically a technology, but
Yeah.
it was definitely different.
What about you, Raina?
I mean, nothing's peaceful.
Well, I mean, this isn't really technology, but there was definitely, like, a show that they were constantly replayed. It was, like, Angel something.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that was made for the show.
Yeah. But it definitely, you could tell by looking at it that it was supposed to be an old show. That's about it. I don't really remember anything else.
Gotcha.
Well, how weird. But like that old man as well. I thought that old man was like the old man turned out to be a pretty nice guy. He was awesome, and we now know like what his backstory is. Though I'm a little confused of what mentally driven him to just glare at this child. Like that, it'd be one thing if he was just staring at him with like, oh, I should probably talk to that kid. I feel sorry for him. But he glares at the child.
Yeah, during the store clerk, like, he started talking to him when he was in the church, but before that, he just kind of looked creepy, and I understand when they were looking at him through the window, he didn't have a chance to talk to him, but at the store, he just kind of looked at him creepily, didn't say a single thing, like he was clearly scared. So yeah, I didn't really understand him at the beginning, but he was really a nice dude.
Okay. All right. Well, then, who was your favorite character in this movie?
Who's my favorite character? You should probably start out with this one right now, since I started out with the last one.
Actually...
Oh yeah, wait a minute. Wait, you start out with technology. It's only fair I interrupt you here.
Wow.
Okay, so my favorite character... At first, I really liked the, At first, I just liked the, crooks a bit too much than I should. But this kid just grows up on his own. But I swear, most 8-year-olds who, are left home alone, they would not last nearly as long as Kevin did. He kept a house running somehow, paid the electric bill. I don't know. Oh, wait. It might have... I don't know how long this whole thing took place. I don't think it was even a week. Whatever. But, like, he kept the house running. He did the laundry. Like, before he was afraid of darks... Darks. He was afraid of darks. And now that he went to the basement and turned on the light, like, a kid, this 8-year-old got over a phobia in the span of a week.
Yep.
My favorite character is Kevin. It's totally not the Santa Claus that was in the movie. Santa Claus was awesome, but, you know.
Yeah.
What about you, Raina?
Silly enough, my favorite character was the crook that got his hand burned on the doorknob and got the flamethrower to his head. Not because I liked his personality, because I thought he added a hilarious
It was because
element
you got
to the movie.
torched, wasn't it? I'm on to you.
No. It's because he gave the movie like a hilarious element. He was awesome. I mean, he wasn't awesome, but he was hilarious in the movie, so I liked him in the movie.
Well, the guy who got his hand burned, that was played by Joe Pesci. He is a very famous actor.
Makes sense. I have no idea.
Who's been in lots of movies, like if you've ever heard of Goodfellas.
Nope.
My Cousin Vinny.
Nope.
Lethal Weapon.
Nope.
We don't know anybody.
No.
One of my personal favorites, Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Never
Definitely
heard of
not.
it.
No, it's just a fun movie about 8 heads that are in a duffel bag.
Sounds amazing. Is it
Yeah.
rated R? It's rated R.
I think it is, yeah.
Dang it all.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's well known. He had a very famous scene in Goodfellas. Have you ever heard the line, "Are you talking to me?"
No.
Kind of. Yeah, probably once or twice, but you know, it's kind of a
Or
common.
no. Whoa. That's Al Pacino. I am so sorry. No, he had the line. Goodfellas was he was yelling at someone for laughing at him. Do you think I'm funny? No.
No.
Well, that's also kind of a common saying that people say.
Well,
very
it
often
was
in real
a
life.
very
No.
popular. Well, he was in a very famous movie about the mob. It was like a mafia type movie
Never
called
heard of it.
Goodfellas.
Never heard of that.
Yeah,
Either.
I don't.
He's a very famous actor.
You lost me. You lost me.
Thank you.
Okay,
I've
so-
never heard of him.
Raina, we don't have to ask this to, but Xavier. So, as we did last time, we don't pick the same. We don't. If you pick the main character, I need to ask you, what's your favorite secondary character? That's not the main character. Which this one really, the main character was Kevin. So he was the only one that I would have done this to.
Okay. My favorite other main character,
Other secondary.
other not so main character.
Favorite character that's not Kevin.
Yeah.
Main character is not,
Not
Kevin. Kevin is not the main character.
He is the main character.
Okay. I know I said the jolly old elf that was helping the jolly old elf, but I'm
Sure.
gonna have to do this to him. It's gonna be the other old man, like the guy with the
The
shovel.
guy, the shovel guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is the shovel guy.
He
not
would have been my
Shovel.
second pick too. I love.
He was a really cool
He was
character.
great.
Oh, wait, wasn't it the crook guy?
All
No,
right.
he would have been my other pick.
So, we got the favorite character out of the way. What about least favorite character?
Ooh. Okay, you should probably do this one. right.
Buzz. It was Buzz.
Buzz.
Buzz was a butthead.
Buzz was a butthead.
You may proceed.
Okay. My least favorite character. That's kind of a tough one. But seriously, why does my head always go to that Santa clerk?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's
I mean, he's an amazing guy. He's also in no, he's not a terrible guy at all. Like, he probably did what any sane person would do. Though there's not very many sane people in this movie. And again, my least favorite character, I'm gonna have to say Uncle Frank.
Uncle
Yeah.
Frank, yeah, he was jerk face.
Who backs into a child? Who, like, I know he probably didn't see him, but when you back out of a chair, you should at least see some child in your philosophical visions, or whatever you call it. Wait, you do not just look straight ahead when backing up your chair.
You're trying to say peripheral vision?
I call it what I want. I'm not pronouncing anything that's weird. I'm a man.
All right, so, okay.
So yeah, I do not like
Uncle Frank.
And Uncle Frank. So, I would say, I don't know if Uncle Frank was in the movie long enough to really have him. I think Buzz would be my least favorite.
Well, you didn't say main character, you just said character. So, Uncle Frank.
No, I know. I'm just saying, for me, I don't think he was in there enough to be my least favorite character. So I'm going to go with Buzz, personally. And then for my favorite character, I mean, Kevin, definitely. And then after that, Catherine, or his mom. I liked his mom in the movie. I also like the actress, but so there's that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that transitions into what was anybody in this movie that you recognized?
Okay, I'm sorry, hang on. Before we transition, I'd also like to mention the fact that if I knew the name of like some of the other kids, that one kid who called Kevin a disease, he had to be older than Kevin, who was 8 years old, like much older. He was taller, has matured, like not mentally but physically, a lot more than Kevin. So he should be old enough to not call someone a disease. That is not that. If I knew his name, I'd probably hate him. Jeff. Okay, yeah. I changed it from Uncle Frank to him.
Just because
he will be in my section. We'll talk about him for a minute in a second. But he will be in. I want to find out if there was anyone you guys recognize, because he is known for something else.
Okay.
Was he in
this movie? I did not recognize anyone in this movie.
You didn't recognize anyone in this movie?
Except for the big guy, kind of. Like the guy in the band. I don't remember his name, but I recognize him a little bit.
Famous comedian.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. He looked like kind of familiar, but I don't know. And when you say Jeff, he kind of, when you say Jeff, when I think about it, I don't think it's that at all, but, what was that one Christmas movie? You'll shoot your eye out.
That's the Christmas movie.
That's
Christmas
Story.
Christmas Story.
Is he in the Christmas Story?
I don't think so.
It was just a guess. I don't know.
Did you not recognize anybody, Raina?
No, I don't.
So, couple of big names in this movie. First one I've already mentioned is Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci is a huge name. The comedian you're talking about is John Candy.
Never heard of him.
He's a very famous comedian. He was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Never heard of it.
No? Never heard of him?
No. I probably won't have heard of him.
He was in Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah. Why? Oh, yeah, I remember.
Oh, he was the dog.
He was the dog.
He was the dog.
He was in
I
Uncle
knew he
Buck.
looked familiar.
Never heard of that.
Cool Runnings?
Nope.
No.
I do remember the name of it, but I don't remember
Cool Runnings. There's like we saw it on Netflix. There was like a
it's like a
sledding.
Surfing,
The
sledding.
Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
I've never watched that, but I remember it.
I watched that at school, like when I was
Cool
in
Runnings.
6th, 7th grade. Maybe.
I remember hearing of it.
Macaulay Culkin. Now here he wasn't famous at all, and honestly, Macaulay Culkin is mostly famous for this movie.
Yeah, he's famous.
But he's huge. I mean, most people know his name just because of this movie.
Yeah.
Another big one is the mom is played by Catherine O'Hara.
Nope.
Don't know her?
Nope.
You do. You've heard her voice.
No.
Probably, yeah.
Well, first off, she's in a newer show called Schitt's Creek that's really, really popular.
We've only talked about that. The
Yep.
name.
Alright, so she was also in a movie I know you both have seen. Raina, I'm pretty sure you've seen this numerous times. Beetlejuice.
Yes. Oh, she was the girl. She got the big beak from one of those parts. She was one of the main characters.
She was the mom.
I mean, Beetlejuice is a star. It's a really big one. It's made of gas,
She's the
oxygen, burning fly.
She's the mom and mom
You
and
know,
the.
she kind of looks. She kind of reminds
She has
me
her
of
head when the shrimp hands grab her and drag her into the soup or whatever.
Millions of times.
She was one of the.
I want to rewatch that movie because I don't remember most of it.
Well, maybe we'll do that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Light years away.
Yeah. And then the big one that you should know her by her voice and not her face is she is in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sally.
She is the voice of Sally and Shock.
Well, I didn't remember her voice, but
Yep, watch
wait,
that.
is she
I'm pretty
the?
sure.
I may be
Definitely
remembering
watch
her
that.
wrong, but I'm kind of getting like, I'm kind of remembering her from also being the mom from Drop Dead Fred. Maybe it's just because you said
She's not the mom in Drop Dead Fred, but
I kind
That's
of
a good
remember.
guess, though.
but I mean, if you remember who Shock is, right?
No.
Lock, Shock, and Barrel. The three kids, the three psycho kids for
okay.
Oogie Boogie's boys,
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the female one of those.
Ah.
So she plays Shock, and she also plays Sally.
I want to rewatch that one too. When did that one? When did
That one
come
I try to
out?
watch every Halloween or
Yeah.
Christmas because I can choose.
When did that one come out?
93.
Oh, that's another idea.
Yep.
Maybe it's
We could.
coming.
We'll probably save that one for Halloween time.
Yeah.
That will be a Halloween episode that we do.
Yep.
Yeah, and we didn't bring this one towards Christmas because, Gremlins.
Yeah.
Sauce.
Yeah, we're gonna
Sneak
watch Gremlins as one of our Christmas movies. So Jeff, the red-haired boy that you brought up, that said you called Kevin a disease.
Yeah.
His name is Michael C. Morona, which I don't even recognize his name, but he was in a very popular Nickelodeon show back in the 90s called The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Nope.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought you were
that
going to
was
say like Ed, and Eddie or something.
no, that was a show I watched as a kid. But so anyway, so that's the famous people that are in this movie, the biggest ones, and some of the other ones are kind of well known too, but not as well known as the ones that we brought up. So let me ask you. We'll ask Raina first. What was your favorite scene in Home Alone?
It's definitely. Well, actually, I was gonna say it was one of the ones where Kevin was torturing the bandits, but I think it's the one where Kevin went to the church and started talking to the old guy, and they had that conversation. I'm pretty sure that's my favorite scene.
That's so sweet.
I liked that one.
So sweet.
Thanks.
For me, it's literally every scene where Kevin tortures the bandits.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But
I'm
then
trying
I
to think
thought-
of what my favorite torture was, and I think it was the fact that they that he made I believe it was Marv. No, it was Joe Pesci's character, all sticky, and then put feathers on him for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Like, really, putting feathers on him doesn't hurt him or anything. It just humiliates him.
Just for fun.
Kevin's just being a little jerk.
Yeah, that's what I said during the movies.
I mean, he is 8
just
years
did
old,
that just
but,
for
like,
fun.
he realizes he's got the upper hand. They did outsmart him at one point, but, to their look,
Yeah.
the old man's an awesome person.
I thought he was going to take a picture of him. I thought Kevin was going to take a picture with him. I was like,
What was your favorite scene, Xavier?
Oh, my favorite scene. Wait, I didn't even get to choose a favorite torture yet, you bunch of psychos.
Wow.
My favorite torture had to have been the guy getting torched in the head. He should not have remained conscious after that. Okay.
It mostly hit his hat.
Yeah, but kind of went through a little bit, just a little.
It did, but
I know this may seem a little strange, but my favorite scene had to have been when.
When?
Yeah. Man, I cannot talk today. My favorite scene had to have been when Kevin went to the supermarket and he's shopped. I mean, he probably shopped with stolen money, but he shopped.
Yeah.
He shopped like a responsible adult.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect that from an 8-year-old. I mean, It's definitely possible, but you wouldn't expect it.
This not only shows just how responsible he's gotten, like just being on his own and all, but he literally grabs a regular jug of milk out of the fridge instead of the chocolate milk being right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even if I'm like 40 years old, I would have grabbed like
only children would notice that he grabbed regular milk.
I thought he was going to grab the chocolate milk. At first, just for a split second in my mind, I saw the chocolate milk. I'm like, he's going for the chocolate milk. It just seemed like an obvious thing. And he went for the regular milk, and I was like, what? And then I just kind of forgot about it. It just happened.
I even have chocolate milk with my cereal every day as breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
What was your least favorite scene? I'll start. Him not grabbing the chocolate milk. That's my least favorite scene.
Are you sure?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Xavier, you go first.
Okay. My least favorite scene. Oof. I don't know. That's a tough one, really. Ray, you should go first.
Am I allowed to say none of them?
I think you did last time.
Did I?
Can
I not have 2 passes?
Well, that would be poor story writing.
Okay, if I had to have a least favorite, and keep in mind this doesn't mean that I hated it, it's just I have to pick. If I have to pick, it'd probably be maybe the one where he was in the hallway Kevin got in trouble by his parents, everybody getting stared down because he got upset at Buzz. That's probably my least favorite, because I just feel so bad for him.
That's probably my least favorite, too. I mean, I get why it happened, it helped the movie go along, but, yeah, it's probably my least favorite as well.
I was thinking that as well. The rest of the movie goes a bit uphill. Who doesn't want to watch a 8-year-old have the time of his life after being, mentally tortured by a bunch of other kids? Most of them who are even related to him. Just see him watching some television, some old television, just with a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah.
I'd be like...
That feels so satisfying, but, I'm going to have to agree with Raina, but my least favorite scene is just everybody torturing the kid. Buzz just eats the pizza that's specifically for him. There's 12 pizzas, one for each kid, I'm guessing.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just Kevin didn't like all the other toppings. He just liked cheese pizza. So
yeah, and Buzz is a jerk.
Yeah.
But you know what? He got his anger out when he got tortured and then tortured bandits, but it was for a good cause, so it all ended up fine.
It all ended up fine.
Everything's happy and daisies and gumdrops.
So one thing I want to say about this movie is this movie, in my opinion, has one of the best movie tie-in games that have ever been made.
Wait, what?
Okay, so movie tie-in games are normally absolutely terrible. They're games that are based on movies. And traditionally, they're terrible. Some notable ones that are actually great are Spider-Man 2. The Spider-Man 2 game is a fantastic game.
I didn't know that was
Possibly
a game.
that one. What came out when the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. So it came out around that time, so we're talking like 2003, something like that.
My two favorite Spider-Man movies have to be the second one and Homecoming.
Oh yeah, I love the new ones.
I love the Homecoming.
I like pretty much all of them, but this isn't Spider-Man.
Hey,
Not yet.
we can make a Spider-Man if we want. This is our show.
But that is one of the most notable movie tie-in games that are great. Now, then there's also the other side of that, and one of the worst ones, and like famously bad, is E.T. The E.T. game for Atari is so bad that there's a urban myth that they buried them all in like Nevada or something. Now, I don't know if it's true. It might be true. I think it is true. But yeah, there's
I have seen
so
that
bad.
game. It's horrible.
But this game was the Sega version, not the Super Nintendo one. Super Nintendo one is just a terrible beat 'em up. The Sega version of this is a lot of fun. It's a timed game. I think you had like 20 minutes. And you play as Kevin, and you go to all 5 houses that are on vacation, and you actually get to put traps at each house. And you get to build your own guns, like little rubber band guns, and you play as Kevin, and you after the 20 minutes and you're done making traps, then you have to fight the wet bandits. And it's really fun.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite movie tie-in games.
I'm pretty sure I've watched a video of somebody playing it. It looked pretty
It's really
interesting.
cool.
I've
like
never
it a
heard
lot.
of it.
There's also a board game of it. I'm pretty sure our cousin.
Now I've never tried the board game, but the video game is for Sega, and I want to make that clear. The Sega version of Home Alone is a really fun game.
Bro, this
All the other ones and the sequels are terrible, but the Sega one is really fun.
I cannot imagine this movie return to a beat 'em up. This kid is supposed to be smart, and he is not some hulking colossus that can beat.
Well, it also fit
aliens from
It
Dragon
also
Ball Z.
fit the theme of the movie, where he's putting down traps and everything. Where the other ones were like, oh, you find weapons and you defeat the wet bandits with like pistols, and I think there was a bunch of like weird random robbers that you had to fight because you didn't just fight the wet bandits because they were like bosses, and it was just a terrible game. But the Sega version, where you got to you only face off against the wet bandits, and you put up traps. You get like a blueprint and put traps everywhere, and it's a really fun game. It's one of my favorites.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, I wanted to bring up a few things from IMDb. First off, I just thought this was cute. Catherine O'Hare revealed that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom.
That's surprising, because in the movie, at first, it didn't seem like they had a very good relationship. But I guess back in the, like, when they were filming it behind the scenes, he was probably like, hey, Mom. It's probably like a joke.
Yep.
It's funny.
Couple things about Joe Pesci is, now, remember I said he was on Goodfellas.
That's good.
Joe Pesci is normally used to being on more dark movies with, language and R ratings.
Yeah.
So the director, Chris Columbus, had to keep telling him, hey, say fridge, not the F word, fridge. And he also, tried avoiding Macaulay Culkin on set, because this kid, Macaulay Culkin at the time, was actually 8. He was a really young kid at the time. He avoided him on set to so Macaulay Culkin could think he was mean. Because he didn't want to be friends with Macaulay Culkin, so it would help him be afraid of him.
I say fridge that idea.
So,
That's pretty cool.
fridge that idea, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
That is what I said.
All right. So, all right, children. Taking you back to school.
Time for grades?
Wait, it's
Time
summer.
for grades. What
Oh, hi, Cat.
what letter grade do you kids give Home Alone? Let's start with you, Xavier.
I've thought long and hard about this since the beginning of the movie. So I remember giving like a couple of the recent movies like B's and a few of them like I don't know, some of them C, maybe one of them, I don't remember. I'm giving this an A+ because it's such a good movie that's played out. Every scene is meant for something except of course like getting feathers blown at the crooks, because that was just supposed to be humorous, and the movie is supposed to have a little bit of humor in its dark demeanor and whatever. Like the movie's good. I did cringe at like the terrible parenting and the terrible siblings. Everybody's got terrible siblings.
Wow. Thanks.
But dude, this movie was extremely well thought out, but I don't know if I want to watch the sequel. It might ruin it, but I'm gonna have to watch it because that's how I do.
I've seen part of the sequel.
The second one I really enjoy as well. It's still a fun movie. Now, we don't need to talk about any sequels after 2. They end at 2. There's nothing else afterwards. Don't look that up. There's only 2 Home Alones.
Okay.
Until they make a sequel where
3 though.
No, there's no such thing.
Trying to hide
Don't look
something?
online. It's not a thing.
I have the internet.
There's only 2. Only 2.
I'm gonna look up
Until they make a sequel where Macaulay Culkin comes back as the dad and has a kid, there's no other sequels than Home Alone 2.
Oh yeah, I heard that Macaulay Culkin isn't the kid in any of the other movies because he'd already grown up. And like I've heard people complain like he's not even in the movie. He at least should have been the dad. That would have made it great.
I forgot about something.
What?
There's another kid in this movie that you might recognize.
Huh.
You remember the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
We've never actually finished that movie. You like stopped me mid-movie, like just because I don't remember what, but like we were, I don't know, playing the game. I think because I don't remember.
I really liked the movie.
Why we stopped the movie?
Raina, do you remember it?
No. Maybe. Well, I mean, maybe, but not really much.
Kevin's Macaulay Culkin's real life brother was in this movie.
Oh.
The kid that Kevin keeps complaining about peeing in the bed that he has to sleep with.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of looked like him. I was wondering about
Macaulay
that.
Culkin's real life brother, and he is in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, where he plays his gay roommate friend.
Sorry,
bit me.
So, Raina, we got Xavier. He said A+. He loves this movie. What about you?
Of course, A+. It's just awesome. It's an awesome movie. It's nothing new. It's just an awesome movie.
I swear there are like
nothing else to say.
There's like no plot holes in this movie whatsoever, except we'll do it on the ground that the father picked up. This calls for a sequel.
This is where I disagree. I do feel like there's plot holes, and that's why I'm giving it an A-. I really enjoyed this movie. However, like I felt like he didn't have enough time to make all the traps that he made for the Wet Bandits. And some of the acting is a little awkward. Mostly because you're dealing with an 8-year-old kid. Mind you, Macaulay Culkin does a great job for the most part.
Yeah, like aftershave.
But the aftershave, that was a very famous scene when it came out. Yeah. Don't know why he did that twice.
I think he just wanted to be manly. Kind of like Xavier. He just wants to feel the feeling.
I tried to slap my face and I slapped the egg carton box.
The egg carton box.
Yeah, he... But then him talking to himself all the time, I realize it's to help make things more interesting, but it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he probably went, like, not crazy, but, like, he probably needed something to talk to. He's just kind of narrating his life. I especially like the part where the furnace, I'm guessing it was a furnace.
Oh, yeah, that was another weird scene.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello,
Shut
Kevin.
up.
Yeah, that was another weird scene. Like, in a movie that's, for the most part, grounded in reality, we have this furnace talking to Kevin.
Yeah,
now,
it
mind
just
you,
doesn't make sense.
It's in his imagination. I get that, but it was really out of place in this movie.
I didn't
But
make really sense.
these are all minor gripes. This is a fun movie to watch, especially if you have kids. Watch it with your kids. It is a great movie to watch, and I give it an A-.
Yeah.
All right, so the Rotten Tomatoes score on Home Alone. So we all gave it really high grades. Now, the tomato meter gives it a 65%. So that makes it certified rotten.
Yeah.
The audience gave it a 80%. So a lot of people like Home Alone.
Yeah.
So let's find some positive and negative reviews for Home Alone. Alright, this reviewer, Christy Strauss from Film Inquiry, says the charisma of Macaulay Culkin matched with the intelligent script by John Hughes makes this the definitive holiday story that it is, appealing to all ages.
Too bad that it's not Christmas, but oh well. I mean, it's close to Christmas. It's middle of July, but it's close.
But the movie is set in Christmas, son.
I know.
Alright. And then here is a negative review for Home Alone.
Oh boy.
By Tim Bratton, Antagony and Ecstasy. He gave it a 4 out of 10. Says a better director could have helped the film out considerably, even saved it. But even then, the script is tremendously weak by Hughes' standards or anybody else's.
How dare you?
How dare you?
That was rude.
Not very many people can get a child that can act that good for his age.
I thought he was great for acting when for how young he was. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that dude was expecting way too much.
Too high a standards.
Just saying.
But anyways, so those are our reviews. So, Raina, what is the next movie we're going to watch?
Little Shop of Horrors. If you haven't heard of it, you should definitely watch it, or just watch it before the podcast that we make the next weekend after next weekend. It's a really good movie.
We're going to change our format a little bit here. Instead of doing this at the beginning of that podcast, have either of you seen Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've both seen it.
Yeah,
So we can't really do any kind of you guessing what the movie's about because you've already seen it.
It's fine. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's fine. It's good. It's a good enough
I'm good
movie.
at forgetting crap.
It's good. It's a good movie.
Unless I just watched
Well, then we won't do the part where I ask you what your what your predictions are. So, or what you think the movie is about. So, feed me, Seymour. Yeah, we'll be doing a lot of that during this one. And we are watching the 1980s version with Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And the musical, not the original. Maybe someday.
Bill Murray. I'm sorry.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Steve Martin's in this movie.
Bill
I don't recall
Murray.
Bill Murray being in it.
Bill Murray was. You know what? We're gonna watch the movie, and you're gonna see Bill Murray.
I think.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Bill Murray is one of he's the guy that goes to the dentist and loves the dentist.
He's like, give me more.
Yeah, give me more.
I love that part.
Let me see more.
Okay, enough talk about it for the people who haven't watched it.
All right, Xavier, why don't you tell everybody goodbye?
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Reina?
Adios, amigos.
All right. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye.